A general surgeon by NHS inquiry removed a patient's ovaries out of preliminary agreement as they were in the path. Tony Dixon helping to young pioneer the use of cell-in-intestine surgical to fix prolapses and ease lock. Lucinda Methuen Campbell, who newly dead, told she had not consented to the remove of the transactions in 2014. Mr. Dixon told he could not commentary on particular concoction due to patient privacy. Mrs. Methuen Campbell had long consultations in Mr. Dixon up the transactions at the Spiral Clinic in Bristol. He said her problems were facility comprising surgical not fair on her intestine but as well her uterus. Mrs. Methuen Campbell was at first said soon following the transactions how her ovaries had been removed. At the period of the surgical, Mrs. Methuen Campbell lived close Swansea and after found how she struggled to get treat in England. Mrs. Methuen Campbell was found corpse at household in January. The pathologist is now studying the reason of die. Mr. Dixon constructed up in world repute for with cell rectopexy to fix intestine problems, frequently inflicted by birth, but is now hanging of performance the surgical at 2 hospitals in Bristol. The General Care Justice, GMC, has stopped him of performance else shape of correcting surgical, named as a star order, sewn transanal excision of the colon, before November 2018. The NHS has now as well called him to the GMC above cell procedures. Polar Bristol NHS Confidence is studying the advisor, who treated at Southmead Clinic and at the individual Spiral Clinic in Bristol. Mrs. Methuen Campbell incurred facility problems in her subsoil and uterus preliminary to vision Mr. Dixon. She had the cell in 2014, while she was 54, to try to escape a hysterectomy. She told how the remove was never aforementioned up the surgical, and if it had she would include been dimly produced. He told he mind same D made me a favor. And he told, I mind you aware, a female of yours age wouldn't very requirement her ovaries. I told, reason did you shoot them, and he fair told they were in the path. My lifetime is completely destroyed but you aware, I can't say how he's Mr. Dixon's destroyed my lifetime. Mr. Dixon has previous told all operative can include problems but his are made in nice belief and the most are success. The flesh can respond versus cell, that can as well destroy and be contaminated. She told, a lot of patients are aware maybe all the symptoms they've had for lot year may be associated to the cell and complications of cell so they've go to search assist. We had at the start 2 or 3 a monthly and now we are receive 1 cell difficulty patient each tertiary or 4 date. Surgeons say they just begun to recognize complications of cell procedures in the recent few year. The pelvis story community, PFS, says up to 2.5% of female who include intestine cell surgical will afflict complications, but it can give lifetime changing benefits for the most. Polar Bristol NHS Confidence told how the well-being and security of patients was an total precedence. Dr. Chris Burton, Care CEO at Polar Bristol NHS Confidence, told, we would love to deesud patients struck by the how we are take the really severely and our investigations are ongoing. Dr. J.J. de Gorter, Team Care CEO at the Spiral, told it hanging Mr. Dixon of surgical in July 2017 and was reviewed the thoroughness he had stipulated. He told, though was accompanied by a complete suspend of his practitioner preference in previous November 2017, that till he is no much longer work at the clinic.